What's up, y'all? Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. 88 Fitness Live every Sunday, 12 Eastern Time. Today we're talking about post-workout nutrition. Old versus new research, because there's a whole lot of new research out there and a whole lot of old research out there. But first, do we have any updates?
So actually last week I was talking with my sister-in-laws and we decided we're going to do a little pre-Christmas Biggest Loser competition. So we have 6 weeks between now and Christmas Eve to see which one of us sisters can lose the most weight. So
Hey.
I am coming for them, y'all. So if anyone wants to jump in and just have a little fun with it and join us, absolutely. Just, write us a comment in the community section. I'd love it if more people joined in, because I think this time of year is so hard to maintain your fitness goals, let alone lose weight. So we definitely need to all come together if that's your goal and support one another.
I was getting ready to say that. What a great idea to do over the holidays. Keep yourself, from gaining the average 8 pounds every American gains over the holiday season.
And that's kind of where we were going with the whole, between now and Christmas Biggest Loser. We realize Thanksgiving's in there and we're going to eat Thanksgiving. And we realize, Christmas is coming, but there's also a lot of other holiday parties and things that we wanted to hold ourselves accountable and not go totally ham, with all those treats around. So I think having that kind of support is really going to help keep us in line this holiday season.
100%. Kylie's on. Hey, Kylie, what's up? And you mentioned it. I'm going to mention it again. You have your own Thanksgiving with your own family, but you have one at work. And then go ahead and throw a Friendsgiving in there. And then go ahead and throw the holiday party, because you got to have a holiday party for Christmas, Thanksgiving, and New Year's.
But it's not even just that. Think about all of the themed food there is, right? So we have Wawa gas stations here, and they have the gobbler. It is like a Thanksgiving on a hoagie roll, right? And then there's Starbucks with all of their themed lattes between, Halloween
Pumpkin
and Christmas.
spice.
So, there's just no shortage. Even Dunkin' Donuts has themed donuts.
Yeah.
So it's everywhere. Temptation's everywhere.
Yeah, it's a real stat, yo. Average American gains 8 pounds from Halloween to New Year's. That is a stat. That is a real stat. Average American 8 pounds plus. That's another reason why the gyms go crazy come New Year's. Everybody just gained 8 pounds. Said, whoa, let's check this right now.
Well, forget that. Join me in my Biggest Loser holiday edition and let's lose some weight. Let's lose 8 pounds between now and Christmas.
And Big T's on. What's up, T? My man. Yeah.
So speaking of gaining weight, where are you at with your bulk? How'd that go this week?
Native Grit's on. Hey, Native Grit, my man. I'm up another 2 pounds with the bulk. We're going good. We went from 210 to 217 now. So 2 pounds a week is about what I wanted to gain. I gained 5 the first week. That was too fast, too much. So 2 pounds is perfect. We're going to keep it there, like I said, to get to 220 and then pause at 220 and reassess. I might gain more. I might stay at 220. So
what did you do different this week? So you said the first week you gained 5 pounds. That was too much. What did you do different this week?
Ate less carbs. It sounds crazy, but yes, I ate less carbs, and the calories were just slightly lower.
Okay.
And still able to gain 2 pounds. The hamstring's healing up. I still can't. My dumb self, I went and walked 40 minutes on the treadmill Thursday, and then that aggravated it. So it's starting to feel better again today, but those 3 days after I walked for 40 minutes did not feel good.
He said it, y'all. That was not very smart.
No, that was not.
All right. So our topic today, which I actually think came from Terrence. So thank
Big
you, Terrence.
T. Thanks, T.
We are talking all about post-workout nutrition today. We're going to go through some of the older studies and compare them to some of the newer research coming back over the last 5 to 8 years or so. But I think it's such a fun topic because you guys are out there watching these videos, putting that intensity into your sessions. So you want to make sure that you are actually getting the post-workout nutrition that you need so you can build even bigger muscles. So we're going to go all through that today. We'll talk about why post-workout nutrition is essential for those gains. We'll talk about the traditional research versus the newer research. And then we'll actually get into what the nutritional requirements actually are. And then some recommendations for how you can get that protein in.
Native Grit's got the question. Are you going to watch the Ravens versus Steelers today? What a rivalry. I stopped watching sports a couple years ago when we got rid of cable. However, I can go catch a game. Like if we get bored, we have to go to the bar to go watch the game.
Most of the time, though, the next day he goes and does cardio at like a Planet Fitness so he can watch the highlights. It took me a while to figure out why he always wanted to go to Planet Fitness the next day. But yes, it's for those college highlights.
I do enjoy football. I like to watch the game. I like to watch the sport, but I no longer follow any teams because, like I said, we cut our cable and I don't watch it anymore. Yeah. I do miss it. But if I want to go, if it's a 1 o'clock game, if it's a 4 o'clock game, I'm going to bed, Native Grit. I ain't making it through that one. But if it's a 1 o'clock game, Camille and I might head down, to the bar and watch the game. We might.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so back to our topic. Let's talk about the importance of post-workout nutrition. So by now, you guys know when you lift weights, you cause what?
Damage.
Yes, we create those little micro tears. We spent an entire hour talking about muscle damage last week. So yes, you need to repair that damage. And so the best way to do that is through post-workout nutrition by providing your body with protein, which actually provides it with amino acids, which are the building blocks for muscle tissue.
Protein breaks down amino acids, yes.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. So, some of the benefits of actually getting that protein in, aside from a muscle hypertrophy, which is the increasing of the muscle size, is, faster recovery times, reduced muscle soreness, and then actually enhancing protein synthesis in the body. So lots of different reasons, even improving your glycogen replenishment. Like we are breaking down glycogen as we're working out. So we need to put that back in the body. So these are some of the reasons and benefits of why you would want to do post-workout nutrition. What else? Why else would you want to do this?
You always want to feed your body what it needs. If you're not providing adequate nutrition, you're starving yourself. You're at a deficit of nutrients. Most people will not be there, but you make sure you have your adequate nutrition. You got everything covered. I'm talking about everything, micronutrients, macronutrients. You don't want to hole anywhere.
Yeah. Native Grit says, do you meal prep for your bulk? He does.
Yes.
He does.
We have, what we got this week? Steaks. I just grilled them this morning.
We have some ham.
She made a ham in a crock pot. What's the third meal?
We are having, it's like ground turkey meatballs, but they're like a Thanksgiving edition. So there's some stuffing mixed in there with them, yeah, that's right. Some dried cranberries and some gravy.
Yep, and that's going to be the 3 meals. We'll rotate through the 3 meals, but since I'm bulking, there's mac and cheese that comes with the ham.
Yeah.
The steak is going to have something. I'm not sure what the carb with the steak's going to be, but there'll be something there.
Yeah, and I'm doing the holiday Biggest Loser, so my steak comes with a salad, y'all. And my ham comes with nothing. So that's kind of the difference. And so that's one thing I do recommend, like, it's a lot easier when you're making simple meals, especially if you have one person in the house bulking and one dieting. So by keeping that protein by itself, it's easy to accommodate whatever the goal is. So that's why we kind of meal prep. Like those turkey meatballs are a little fancy, which makes it hard for me. I have to measure and count like every little bit going in there.
It's true. I just throw the steaks on the grill. It's that easy. Mm-hmm. All right, Native Grit wants to know we're eating Maryland crab cakes.
Native Grit.
I would love to eat some crab cakes. However, Camille doesn't like seafood.
I do like crab cakes, though. I don't like picking crabs, which is like totally a Maryland thing, not for me. Yeah. But if you like mix the mayonnaise and some other stuff in there and put it in a crab cake, I absolutely love that. In fact, it's kind of weird you say that, Native Grit, because like he literally said that he wanted a crab cake.
Yesterday.
Yesterday. And I'm like, you don't even eat crab cakes.
We don't eat them often, but I wanted one yesterday. I will go out to eat. Like, we're not going to make a crab cake.
Yeah.
I don't think Camille wants to or would make
No.
a good one. So we would probably go out to the restaurant if we were going to get a crab cake.
All right. I don't even know where we were at.
Post-workout nutrition.
Well, yes, we're talking about the benefits of it and getting it in. I think a lot of times people are nutrition, they have enough nutrition and they're eating enough, but the question's always like, well, what are you eating? And is that adequate for post-workout nutrition? So we'll get into a little bit of that today as well. All right, so let's start talking about some of the actual research, because I like talking about science-backed things. So historically, if I were to ask you guys listening, what is the anabolic window after training to hit that post-workout nutrition? You would probably tell me, hey, you got like 30 minutes to an hour to get that post-workout nutrition in. At least, isn't that what you kind of always heard for the last 20 plus years?
Within an hour, yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of studies that went into looking at that, but there's also a lot of flaws with those studies. I actually took some time this week to read a couple of them. There was one in particular, it was Rosenblum and Coleman. They talked about that window of being like an hour, but a lot of times those studies were interesting because they were looking at people that were doing moderate intensity, but for really long durations. So these are probably like, soccer players and joggers and whatever, not really bodybuilders targeting hypertrophy, putting like that Mike Mentor heavy duty intensity into it. So I thought that was very interesting aspect of that older study.
Yeah, that's just one red flag right there to tell you it's a flawed study.
Right.
When you're talking about making maximum muscle size, it's completely different than playing a soccer game.
Right.
It's completely different than doing MMA. It's completely different than doing any other sport out there. And I see we got 8 people on right now. So if you have any questions that aren't related to post-workout nutrition, go ahead and fire away, man. We're here for you. If you want to know about crab cake, you can go ahead and ask. I appreciate every and all questions.
So yeah, a lot of those studies from the 2008, 2012, even as recent as like 2014 and 15, talk about, hitting that anabolic window of no more than like an hour or two. And they usually talk about trying to get anywhere from 15 to 25 grams of protein in that sitting. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of been the staple, I know, for however long. Like, that was me and James. I remember first dating him, and we would literally finish the workout and he'd be like, pull over on the side of the road, gotta hit my protein. And I'm like, whoa, dude.
We'd pack it and take it to the gym.
Yeah.
Big T got a question. James, do you still fast in the morning when you train? Yes. If I try to, so I wake up, literally, I'm in the gym probably 40 minutes later working out. If I try to eat before that and then go work out, I'm throwing up. So yes, I am fasted in the morning before I go, but my biggest meal is dinner.
Right.
So it's not like I'm depleted. It's not like I've used up all my stores while I was sleeping. So I'm not depleted. I'm ready to go. I got enough fuel in me from the night before, and I'm rocking and rolling. But yes, I eat. I do not eat when I train in the mornings because, like I said, it would make me throw up.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So some of the newer studies coming back, just to kind of shift gears, are definitely the inverse of that whole 30 minutes to an hour, 2 hours max, 15 to 25 grams. Like, some of these studies are saying, you can go as long as 5 to 6 hours. Yeah. And you can eat a whole lot more, like up to 90 grams of protein in a sitting. Yep. So that's like wildly different, right?
I read up to 9 hours in one of the studies.
I believe it. I can believe it.
Your body stays sensitive to the protein synthesis for 9 hours after the workout. According to this one study, and I don't remember whose study it was.
Yeah, I mean, so I think the main reason these studies are different is just they are looking at people that are training for high intensity in that like 60-minute to maybe 90-minute training window. They're kind of tracking them throughout their whole day to see what's going on. And these people are probably hitting their actual max or recommended protein intake for the day. So that has a role in it too.
Sure. And you're talking about bodybuilders, weightlifters. You're not talking about soccer team.
Or just like an average person doing nothing, a sedentary person.
Right.
So I think that's a main difference between some of those studies, which makes it really interesting. I think, I think as long as you're getting a lot of different mixed protein sources throughout your day, using a 5 to 6 hour window is okay.
100%.
Now that might change. I might change my opinion on that if you are at a extreme caloric deficit or something. Maybe you're getting ready for a show. You may not want to wait 5 or 6 hours before doing your post-workout nutrition. In that case, maybe you want to eat every 3 to 4 hours, so you're getting adequate nutrition throughout the day and able to hit your max protein without having to consume like a very, very large meal at one time.
Yeah, we just talked about it. My dinner, I'm still full from dinner the night before when I wake up. My glycogen stores are still full. They're not empty. But if I'm in prep and I'm carb cycling or I'm in extreme caloric deficit, then I am depleted when I wake up. I might have something before I work out.
I mean, at that point, you're so hungry, you definitely want to eat every couple of hours anyway, right? Whether your body needs it or not. Another interesting thing that I think kind of matters, it's interesting, is just what is in the protein source that you're eating. And we'll get to that. So I'm probably getting ahead of myself. But yeah, I think in terms of how much protein you need, so let's forget about how much protein you're eating in a sitting, right? Because you could obviously eat anywhere from 15 to 90 plus grams in a sitting, according to some of the newer research. But in terms of like how many grams per body weight do you need, I would say anywhere from 1 to 1.5 would be a practical range for a person.
I mean, it's been around 20 plus years now. It's pretty universally accepted. 1 to 1.5 grams of protein per pound body weight is what your protein intake should be.
Right. So Terrence has a question. What do you guys go to for post-workout carb source that you typically will consume?
That's a great question, T. Great question. So I have, what's the dextrose? I actually bought the jug of dextrose. It's the quickest acting carb out there. That's why I bought it. But we'll also do rice cakes sometimes. What do you do mostly?
Rice cakes or just like some white rice or something like that. You just need to be careful what you're eating and make sure it doesn't have things to slow that process down.
Oh, yeah.
But I will say, like, if you're eating regular carbs throughout the day, that part may not be as important. So that was one of the interesting things when I was looking at some of the newer research. The glycogen loading and stuff to create that insulin spike wasn't actually the most important thing for aiding with hypertrophy. It was actually protein intake, making sure you have like a full amino profile for that protein. And it was actually hydration. Like, most people, I guess, don't consume enough water when they actually lift. So after the workout, they need to replenish that hydration level. So I thought that was actually interesting, that really creating that insulin spike didn't matter that much as long as you were eating carbs throughout the day.
Right. It goes back to, and I'm going to quote Mike Mentzer again. And once you all start studying Mike Mentzer, it's hard to listen or hear anybody else because he's always right. And he keeps coming back right again and again and again and again and again. So if you provide adequate nutrition, your body will utilize it how it needs to.
Right.
Doesn't matter when, as long as there's adequate nutrition.
Right.
So your protein intake for the day, your carb intake for the day is what matters.
Right.
Not post-workout nutrition.
Right.
That's what all the new studies are coming back saying. And we got some action going on here. What's going on?
All right. Native Grit will have to rewrite the first part of his comment because I think it got deleted.
Yeah. All we got is cheat meal, not cheap.
Yeah. Elaborate a little bit on that for us. But yeah, like, so previously we thought like, that insulin spike was really imperative, and we would be looking for simple sugars and doing research like to make sure there wasn't cinnamon in whatever carb we were eating, all sorts of things.
Right. So it's like this magical window that opens up for an hour where your body's just going to soak up all these nutritions that you're eating, right? All these
Right.
nutrients, but it's not. Your body already has the nutrients.
Right.
It's already sucking up the nutrients. You don't have to feed it in there again unless you are depleted.
Right.
And you are self-inflicted if you're depleted, like you're in prep.
Right.
You're a fighter that has to make weight. Then you're depleted. If you're from North America, you're not depleted, trust me. Unless it's self-inflicted,
Right.
you are not depleted.
I mean, in even that case, I wouldn't necessarily pair a carb with my protein, because your body's going to absorb that protein. Like, it wants those nutrients if you are like carb cycling or something deep into a cut or prep. So I don't think you need to purposely spike your insulin anymore, which for me, like, that's huge. Like, I previously thought you absolutely had to, or you wouldn't absorb that protein and push it into your muscles fast enough. And so that's just crazy to completely do a 180 and say, oh, it's not that important to eat a carb anymore.
Yeah, matter of fact, and I'm glad you asked the question, what's your carb source? Because about 3 of the studies I came across said it no longer matters if it's a simple carb or a complex carb, as long as your daily carb intake is big enough. They all break down to glycogen, simple or complex. So as long as your glycogen stores are full, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
you're getting adequate nutrition, complex, simple,
right.
No insulin spike needed, etc., etc. There's no magic window. Nothing magical is going to happen in your hour after your workout unless you are depleted. And even then, it's probably not anything magical, right?
Yeah, I just picture this like magical rainbow bridge pushing the nutrients and all the carbs all flowing together when you say that. But all right, Native Grit elaborated. So he said, during a cut, have you ever wanted that cheat meal so bad that you ate it? What would it be? For him, it would be biscuits and gravy.
That's a good one, baby. I like that.
Yeah.
The first question, have I ever had a cheat meal when I wasn't supposed to? No.
No.
I'm only cutting for competition, and there's no way I'm eating a cheat meal unless I am ahead of the game and I'm allowed to eat a cheat meal.
Same here, but it's funny, y'all. Like, we've seen everything as coaches. So we had an athlete a couple years ago came in, like, they had their macros and they were like, oh yeah, I had a cheat meal. I felt like I needed it. And we're like, whoa. Like, were you supposed to eat that cheat meal? Like, you were not prescribed a cheat meal.
Yeah.
So our clients do that all the time, unfortunately.
All the time. I've had a half client come in and she ate pizza and said, I deserved it. And I said, no, you didn't. You're not ahead of the game. You're not ahead of your prep. You absolutely did not deserve or earn that pizza. Good on you. You ate it, but now we got to catch up even more.
Right.
And she didn't like that reaction very much, but I'm an honest coach and I'm going to give it to you real. You didn't earn, you're not ahead of the game. You did not earn that pizza. You should not have ate it. But since you ate it, let's go ahead and get some burpees going to make up for that.
Yeah. So Native Grit, a lot of times, at least like 5+ years ago, my cheat meal would be pizza, but now it's like some kind of like pasta or like salad with all the good stuff in it. Like, I eat very weird stuff after a show. Like last show I did, I think I was eating a bowl of pasta and like roasted Brussels sprouts. And I ate like a whole tray. James did not like me very much later that day. But it's like the weirdest things. It doesn't make any sense.
My go-to cheat meal, probably cheeseburger right now. Yeah. Cheeseburger and fries.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm with Camille. It used to be pizza, but once I grew up, it's not pizza anymore.
All right. Terrence says, how come the guys back in the old bodybuilding days were not eating a lot of carbs or no carbs at all? You seen them eating more proteins and fats.
That's not what I see, Big T. Most of the old school guys had a low-fat diet. They had high protein, high carb. That's what I see. I don't know what you're looking at, buddy, but they used to eat the carbs back in the day and stay away from the fats is what I've seen. That's what I've known. But if you've seen that and you know that, they were probably cutting. getting ready for a show.
Yeah, I was going to say more proteins and fats would definitely be cutting for show because carbohydrates are not like essential. Like fats help regulate hormone production, which keeps your metabolism going. So you need that. Protein, obviously, yeah, topic of the day. If you're trying to preserve your muscle mass while dieting, you need that protein intake. But the carbs aren't essential. Like your body will break down the stored fats and create that glycogen that you need for you. So that might be why you saw that, Big T.
So that's a good point. I mean, not much changes during your diet you know, when you're bulking or you're cutting. The biggest change is carbs.
Right.
You know, my protein is 1.5.
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of actual 1.5 grams per pound and 50-pound person, you would want 150 grams to 240 grams per day. Now, maybe if you are bulking like James, you can get away with eating a little less and eating more carbs because you shouldn't be having that breakdown. Like the carbs can help aid with that. But on average, that's what you would want. If you're more of a 200-pound person, you would want between 200 and 320 grams a day. So this starts to become a lot of protein, y'all.
This is where protein powder comes in. We got a comment. Native Grit works at a level 4 prison. One part of my life, and noticed guys would eat ramen noodles like they're going out of style. They're cheap, they're easy, they're low calorie, but high carb.
Yeah, they're definitely filling.
I mean, I don't know if it has anything to do with prison, but when I was in the Army, the guys ate ramen noodles like crazy as well.
All your college students too.
Maybe it's broke diet. You know, we couldn't afford any much more when we were in the Army, but we ate the ramen like it was going out of style, baby.
Yeah. So let's talk now about some practical tips in terms of post-workout nutrition. Like we already kind of said it, but you want to make sure that you're eating whole foods, or if you can't, like supplement. So if you can get your protein from your meals, that's great.
Real food is always better.
But like we said, you know, 320 grams of protein a day is kind of a lot.
That's a lot.
So you might not be eating that at that point, you know. Like I think James would have a hard time eating that.
That would be at least, 2 shakes. That would give me 100 grams, and then I could eat the 220.
Yeah. So yeah, whole foods. You want to make sure your protein sources are complete proteins. We've talked about this before. Like you want the complete amino acid protein. So that's going to be your animal sources of protein for the most part. So just something to consider there.
It is supplement, you know, your supplement protein powder, make sure it's a complete protein. You could probably get some $5 cheap off-brand stuff that's not a complete protein. Check your protein bottles, check your protein supplements, make sure it's a complete protein.
I mean, I'm actually surprised by that because we read a lot of labels when we go to the stores. Like we'll turn around, look at it, and I'll be surprised at how many don't have a complete protein source. They might have anywhere from like 15 to 17 of the amino acids, but they certainly don't have all of them. So definitely something to look at there.
And again, if you're not educated, you don't know any better.
Right? You're like, hey, this protein looks like it has a lot of protein per serving. It's a good cost point, you know.
I can tell you right now, James Houston in the Army, what about the cheap protein? Because I didn't know any better.
Right.
Now I'm looking at the bottle, reading the labels, what's in it.
Right.
You know, price isn't the most important thing. Back then when I was broke, price was the most important thing. And again, I wasn't educated enough to turn the bottle around and say, is this a complete protein?
Exactly. So yeah, you know, you want to make sure you're getting enough. Again, we talked about it, you know, at least 15 grams, y'all. Like that would be like the bare minimum. However, you need to split it up throughout your day to make sure you're eating the overall intakes, what you really want to do. So whether that's a scoop, 2 scoops of protein, or a big steak, or whatever it is, like make sure you're getting enough per serving. A lot of people I see, they're not really serious lifters, but they'll just grab like some kind of protein bar, like a Special K protein. It's like 5 grams of protein. Like that's not going to cut it, y'all. Like I would just stay away from those kind of ready to eat protein type bars and eat real food at that point.
Yeah, it's a marketing gimmick. You know, it's a Snickers bar with some protein in it, guys. Come on.
It's not that much better than the Snickers bar. That probably has like 2 grams of protein. You're only getting like 3 more.
I would hope we all know better than that at this point. Don't buy the Snickers protein bar.
All right, so let's talk what do we eat. So one of my favorite things to do after I work out is just a protein shake. My favorite is this Optimum Nutrition gold standard whey protein. We got this really inconvenient 5-pound bag, but it does come in a 2.5-pound jug, and it comes in a 5-pound jug. But in any case, like, you can get these at Costco, and you can actually get them for a pretty good price point. You can get them quickly on Amazon or anywhere else. In fact, we're going to toss an Amazon link up for you guys. But I have found this to be the best, and I've tried a lot of proteins. So what I like about this one, it is a complete amino acid profile. It has the extra BCAAs in it, 5.5 grams, as you can see there, and it tastes great. So
it doesn't tear your stomach up like a lot of them do to me. Tear my stomach up. This one does not.
Right. So if you have any kind of like dairy sensitivity or something like this might be okay for you. Definitely give it a try, and it mixes well. So like,
no clumps,
no gritty. No one wants to drink sand. So I do like the mixability of that one. So that's usually my go-to. I will say, like, if I am deep in a contest prep, I will go with like an Isopure or something that has less carbs, but that's because I'm nitpicking. Like, this really doesn't have that many carbs. So it's, for 1 scoop, you're about 4 grams of carbs. So that's not bad, y'all. That's pretty good. So these days, now that I know the insulin spike's not that important, I literally will just do a scoop of protein in a shaker cup with, either water or some, low sugar almond milk or something. That's it. Like, that's what my post-workout looks like. I will say, though, if someone does have one of those holiday donuts around, that is the time I will eat that and then have a protein shake. But most of the time, like James said, we're working out at like 2, 3 in the morning. So those kind of temptations aren't around.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good point, though. If you want to eat that stuff, that's the time to eat it.
Yeah. I also will put a scoop of creatine in my post-workout shake. Again, I like the Optimum Nutrition micronized creatine. It blends really well. It's like unflavored, so I can't taste this. So I do about 5 grams right in my post-workout shake.
Yeah, you can't beat this, man. It's 200 servings for like $12.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap. I know James likes to do a scoop of that creatine pre-workout and post-workout. I think you do a scoop each way. But talk about your post-workout nutrition. What do you do?
So depending on where I'm at, how much time I got, et cetera, et cetera. This morning I had a little bit of time, so I had a bagel with the ham that you made yesterday. That was my post-workout meal. But most of the time it will be a shake with creatine, and I'll throw the dextrose in there. And that's my shake.
Yeah.
That's my meal. That's your carbs, your protein, and your creatine. I mean, that's got it covered.
So now if I work out at lunchtime, so sometimes James and I will meet up at the gym where we work, and we'll work out. So in that case, I'm usually not doing the protein powder. I will do whatever we meal prep. So if it's this week and I go to the gym, I'm probably having a steak with a side of like rice or something like that. And that would just be my meal. Like, I wouldn't supplement with powder.
Yeah. So we talked about separating the carbs. Whenever I'm planning to work out at lunch, I make sure I have carbs with my post-workout meal. A lot of times my lunch will be no carbs.
Right.
I don't like eating big meals at lunch. It makes me sleepy. So a lot of times it's no carbs, but if I hit the gym, I make sure I have carbs at that lunch.
Right. So I think you're just trying to make sure you're hitting all the major macro groups, carbs, fats, proteins, so you have like a good complete meal and you're not missing any of the macronutrients.
You said it.
Yeah.
You're not missing anything.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what our post-workout, and for everyone listening, I would like to hear what you guys eat. So Terrence, Native Grit, Kylie, anyone else, like, type in the chat, like, what is your go-to after you work out, and how much of a stickler are you on the time? Because that's what we're here talking about again today.
Yeah. And we used to go Planet Fitness and then right to the Dunkin' Donut. I said we packed our protein, but we didn't pack our carbs. So we used to go to Dunkin' Donuts, but they wouldn't open till 5. Sometimes we'd be done and have to go get a Krispy Kreme from Royal Farms instead.
But yeah, like James said, like if you are gonna have a donut or something like that, it's probably the time to do it.
Yeah.
But again, nowadays we're not like that. We're like, you just want to go home and hit the shake. Like we're not so eager to hit that 30-minute anabolic window.
It's like you know, I'm gonna say Mike Mentzer again. As long as the nutrients are there, your body's going to utilize them the way your body needs to utilize them. There's no magic window.
Right.
That magic window is if the nutrients aren't there.
Yeah.
The nutrients are there, y'all. Unless you're in prep and you're starving yourself and you're carb depleted, your nutrients are there. Your body will utilize. There's no magic window.
Yeah, and so a lot of times too, if I'm working out a little later in the morning and it's pretty close to breakfast time, I will skip the shake altogether and I'll just wait until I eat my breakfast, which has protein powder in it anyway, because I usually have oatmeal mixed with protein powder, some like cinnamon, some couple raisins or something like that. So the only time I really do a solid shake is if I'm working out like 2, 3 in the morning. And unlike James, I don't like eating a big dinner, right? So I eat a pretty reserved dinner, like a protein source, like a little bowl of salad, some cottage cheese and some yogurt. So depending on how hard I worked out and how long, like I probably do need to replenish some of that and eat a big meal. But yeah, it just depends on what I ate the night before, you know, when's my next planned meal. So I try to be a little flexible about it.
Here we go.
All right. So we got a response from KM on post-workout meal. They said they have 4 to 5 whole eggs, scrambled with cottage cheese, rolled oats, and a scoop of protein, 3 turkey bacon slices if they have them in the house, and water. That is a solid meal.
That's fantastic.
Yep. You got the eggs, which again, that's like our animal source. You got the cottage cheese, which is a different type of protein, but a good slow absorbing protein. So you can have that for all day.
Eggs are fast, cottage cheese slow.
Yep. You got the rolled oats that gives you the carbs. And the turkey bacon is going to give you a little bit of fat and more protein. So yeah, that's a solid post-workout meal. I love it.
And it makes it good.
Yeah. And Cam said water. So if you remember what I said in the beginning, is a lot of times people are dehydrated after working out because they don't drink enough. So I love that. Native Grit says he likes to work out at 3 a.m. and he puts the creatine in his pre-workout, and then after workout, 4 eggs and an avocado and water.
Fantastic.
All right. Yeah. So he's got the eggs, he's got the fat source. That's perfect. And he's hammering that water.
You might want to throw some carbs in there, Native Grit. That's the only thing you're missing. You got the protein, you got the fat, you got the water, you even got the creatine. Throw it on some bread, brother. Have a sandwich.
There you go. Terrence likes, if he works out in the morning, he'll typically do 2 scoops of protein with 40 grams of oatmeal and a scoop of creatine blended at work.
My man.
There you go.
I love it.
So that's great. Just make sure you're also getting fat somewhere in your day, Terrence, but solid post-workout there for you.
That is. Yep. You're just missing fat from that one, Big T, but that's a great one. And blended makes it easy. You break it down, baby.
Yeah, I know at one point I used to love doing scrambled eggs with the whey protein mixed in and just by itself. And you could put like some kind of flavor in there if you want it to taste like something. But yeah, I used to do that all the time, especially egg whites. It would be egg whites and oatmeal mixed together. But yeah, all great post-workouts.
Yeah, I like the protein powder with the oats. You know, I used to eat that for breakfast for many years, but I like it as a post-workout.
Yeah, and you could do overnight oats where you just let it soak and eat it cold. Don't need a microwave. I think a lot of people have, you know, pretty active jobs and maybe outdoor jobs, so they can't always have, you know, a microwave handy to heat up their food. So having something grab and go, that's a lot better to do overnight oats with the protein than grab that protein Snickers bar.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Are you kidding? That is big time. Yeah, everybody's got a great one. That's good stuff. I love it.
Mhm.
You know, and even if, native grit, even if you don't get the carbs in, as long as you get them in
Right.
your total daily intake, you're good. Same with Terrence. Even if you
Right.
don't have the fat in the post workout, as long as you got it in your daily intake, you're good to go.
Yeah, for sure.
Fantastic. And those are good stuff, man. We got to start
Yeah, I'm
having
gonna
eggs for
steal
post
that.
workout. I want the eggs avocado
Add an
sandwich.
avocado. There you go. Toss some turkey bacon on there too while we're at it.
Yeah. What are overnight oats?
That's a great question. So overnight oats is when you take some quick oats and you can mix them with water, protein, or some milk, and then you just let them soak and absorb in the refrigerator overnight. And the time you wake up in the morning, all of that has absorbed in and expanded that oatmeal, and it's ready to eat.
It's pretty good,
Mm-hmm.
actually. I like it a lot. I don't even heat it up. I eat it cold, so the oats are actually raw.
Mm-hmm.
They're not cooked.
Right.
They just get soft as they soak all night, so you're not eating hard. Oats. Right.
Yeah, and some people will put like some type of berry in there or other kind of fruit. You can
raisins,
put
cranberries.
Yeah. You can make cinnamon in there, like whatever you want it to taste like. Like it's, Thanksgiving, Halloween season. So you can put some pumpkin spice in there if you want.
Your pumpkin spice oatmeal. It's true though. You could.
Yeah. So lots of different options. There's even a company called Overnight Oats. Jared, if you're interested, you can buy the little pouches and they come in tons of different flavors. And it's just a quick, ready to grab thing. You're going to get, 20, 25 grams of protein in that oatmeal, depending on how much protein's in it. But really great option.
We're happy to help, Jared, anytime. Good stuff. Good stuff. So the overarching theme here would be make sure you get your daily intake in.
Right.
Post-workout is not that important as long as you get your daily intake in. Post-workout is not that important unless you're depleted.
Right. So you should only be depleted if, you're some kind of performance athlete really dieting down. So maybe you're a bodybuilder, I don't know, a wrestler getting ready for a show or something like that.
Right. And you shouldn't be any kind of depleted unless you're pre-contest, like Camille just said. Right. So 99.9% of the time, post-workout does not matter whatsoever.
Yeah. So Native Grit says sometimes lunch is a container of minute rice and a pouch or can of tuna.
Nice.
Mixed in a bowl.
A bugger bowl.
Bugger bowl.
Very nice. Very nice. I used to do that too, but I ate too much tuna during one prep and I'm not a big fan anymore.
I was going to say, I used to do this too. I used to love those tuna creation pouches. Yeah. They come in flavors and I would usually pack a salad and put that on there. So yeah, I'm like James. I ate way too much of that, and so just seeing one of those tuna patches like stresses me out.
Yeah, we haven't done tuna in a long time.
I'm okay
sure
with
it'll
that.
come back at some point, but we both overdid the tuna, so now we're taking a break. Good stuff. That's a good healthy meal, though. It's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
You got healthy fats with the tuna, good carbs with the rice, and then the protein with the tuna. That's fantastic.
Yeah, those tuna pouches are great for the amount of protein per calorie. Like that's cheap. Why we eat it a lot when we're dieting, because it's cheap and you're not getting a lot of calories but a lot of protein. So
yeah, when I was single, I ate it all the time because you don't have to cook it. You just rip it open and eat it, right? So
you mean I can't give you tuna pouches now that we're married? That's gonna be your meal prep. I like Native Grit. I'm gonna put some minute rice in the tuna pouch in your lunch pail.
I know she won't because she hates tuna. So
I didn't say I was gonna eat that for meal prep. All good stuff, y'all. Anything else?
No, I think we covered it. Post-workout nutrition is kind of debunked at this point. There's no magical window. There's no magical time. We should have known that. I mean, everybody wants some magic, right?
Right.
Everybody wants a cheat code.
Right.
Everybody wants a hack. But bodybuilding is so great because you can't. You can't cheat it. You can't hack it. You have to earn it. Right. That's why it's so great. And all these magical windows, the post-workout window, it's magic. No, it's not. Peak week nutrition, magic. No. If you're not ready by peak week, you're not going to fix it at peak week.
Right.
There's no magic going on here. There's no magical win. It's just hard work, consistent work, consistently eating good foods, giving your body the nutrition it needs. That's all it is. It's boring. But
Mhm.
that's really all it is. I wish there was a hack. I wish there was a magic window we could take advantage of, but really, there isn't.
Yeah, I would say like the only magic there is this creatine and complete source of protein. But yeah, if anyone's newer that wasn't on earlier, we basically debunked the whole 30 minutes, an hour anabolic window to push the protein. We even debunked the need for simple carbs to spike the insulin to push the protein. Really, it boils down to making sure that you are eating enough throughout your day of all of the macronutrients, carbs, fats, and protein. And if that's the case, then you can go anywhere from 5 to maybe even 9 hours before getting that protein in after working out.
And we mentioned depleted, and I want to go over this for a second because a lot of people won't know. I've trained a lot of people for a lot of bodybuilding prep, and it could take 3, even 4 days before you're carb depleted. That's 4 days at 0 carbs,
right,
before you're actually depleted.
Right.
And nobody's doing that unless you're carb cycling or you're doing a contest. So keep that in mind. You are not depleted. Right. You have enough glycogen stores from the night before.
Right.
In the morning when you wake up, you are not depleted.
I mean, even if you manage to get depleted, your body is really good at breaking down the fats to give you the glycogen that you need.
Right.
Like it is really efficient. So unless you have like 0 body fat and then you do what he said, you cut out carbs for 3 or 4 days, you're probably not depleted. You have the nutrition that you need for your body. So just consider that.
Once again, the carb after workout's been debunked. It's been debunked. You don't need it. You're not even burning up all your carbs, all your glycogen stores during one workout, unless you're running a marathon or something. Right. And even then, you probably don't burn all bit of the glycogen stores.
You got it. All right, y'all. Well, thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate each and every one of you. Yeah. Terrence, Native Grit, Kylie, KM, which that's a newer name. I haven't seen that name a bunch on here. Jared as well. So thank you guys and gals for commenting today.
Appreciate each and every one of you. Hope we cleared the smoke with the post-workout nutrition. It had a lot of old stuff that's been debunked. So make sure you're getting your daily intake in.
All right, y'all. We'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.